Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to recreate the Strangers movie look. So what I want to do today, I have this brand new Color Pro monitor from ViewSonic, and I want to do kind of an in-depth color tutorial on how I can get this image to look like the original Strangers movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. I have the movie poster hanging up in my movie room, and I shot a Strangers fan film that I put out on YouTube some time back, and I just want to show you guys and kind of do a little color tutorial on how to, recreate a look or, pull inspiration and try and replicate that look or that color just by breaking down the image and the stills and ultimately getting a great color grade out of it. So I'm going to use this still right here from the movie as kind of the inspiration to color this image. This is the morning after scene where the two leads, spoiler alert, end up dying. They're confronted by the killers. Same thing here, morning after scene, killer in the mask. And so we're going to try and replicate this look here. All right, so when I'm color grading, the first thing I always start with is Lumetri Color. We're going to drag that right onto the clip. Typically, I grade with an adjustment layer so that my whole film has one cohesive look, but since we're only doing, individual clips or individual clip, that's what I'm going to do. So, first thing I like to do is come into the Lumetri Color here. And if I do apply a LUT, this is where I typically do it, is in the Creative tab. It's just easier because you can dial back the intensity. If you do it in the Basic Correction tab, there's nothing you can do to dial back the intensity. Sometimes LUTs are too strong, you need to dial it back, and so the Creative tab's a great way to do that. Just for the sake of things, let's just do, I'm gonna apply a LUT that is just a basic Adobe Premiere kind of like preset. So just as a little base, I chose this clean Kodak B Ultra Soft LUT. I'm gonna dial it back, the intensity, to about 50%. I want something very subtle and minimal because where I'm gonna do most of my grading is through the different color wheels and the levels and different things. I don't want the LUT to be doing most of the work. So from there, I'm gonna come into the curves. And if we'll notice, like the overall look of this, there's a slight hint of green to the highlights, and so the green highlights a little bit, and it's probably pretty good, ever so slightly. Then we're going to take that green, if you notice, if I drag it down, it goes more towards magenta. The higher I drag it, more green. We're going to come in right there. We're going to drag the blue down a little bit, the blue midtones. We don't want it to be cool. We kind of want it to have a slightly warmer look right there in the middle of the curves. Cool. So really minimal. I actually shouldn't have started there, but let's just dive into the basic correction here. So overall, it's got a slightly warmer look. In camera, we pretty much got that warm look. I don't think I really need to do anything there. I might warm it up by 5, do a 0.5 here, or raise up the temperature to a 5 here. Tint, might take it -1 on the green scale. I'm away from magenta. Now this image is pretty contrasty. The whole movie is very dark in the shadows, contrasty. So we're gonna take that down actually to quite a bit. Let's just start at, let's say, 75. Highlights, there's a little punch to the highlights. It's not super flat. So we'll raise that up to about a 25. Shadows, we're going to take that down about to a -25. So we'll take shadows to +25, highlights 25, shadows -25. Blacks, I don't like to crush the blacks inside of a Premiere because it actually gets really like noisy and messed up. So I usually don't touch that at all. Whites, take it to about a 5. Saturation wise, there's not a lot of saturation going on here in this image, so we're probably not really going to touch that. That's a good place to start for basic correction. Color wheels. So we'll come over here into the color wheels, And the highlights again are very kind of like this greenish yellow. So we're going to take the highlight color wheel over here, and if you hold shift, it allows you to kind of move it a lot more freely. So we're going to come here and go kind of like to the warm scale, but then down towards the green a little bit, and then walk it back. We'll try somewhere right in there. Shadows, there's not a lot of blues in the shadows. Typically, if you were to go warmer in the midtones and highlights, you would drop the shadows down to a blue. We might ever so slightly drop it into the blue, but very, very minimal. We don't want it to be noticeable at all. So already we're starting to get there, nowhere near where we need to be, but you can already see that look is getting where it needs to be. From there, I'll probably come back into Lumetri in a little bit, but the other main effect that I like to use is levels. We're gonna drag the levels over, and then this is where you do a lot of some of the fine tuning. So we'll toggle our Lumetri Color back on because we wanna see what our baseline color is doing. Then we're gonna take that black input level and we're gonna crush it further. We need to continue to crush that down. So we'll take that to about, say, a 15. Then the white input level, it's probably punchy enough. We might take it down from 255 to a 245, give it a little more punch. Black output level, this is gonna make your image more flat, so we're not gonna touch that. But I do like this tool just for coloring, and grading in general. But we need a more punchy look. Gamma, I might take the gamma down a little bit because naturally the film has a darker vibe. So taking the gamma, the RGB gamma down, if I take it up, it boosts the image, take it down, it just kind of darkens the image. So we'll take it from 100, probably drop that down to like an 85. Let's start there and see how we do. And then this is another one that I really like to use, the black input level. This will kind of take it to that greenish tint that I'm talking about, that this movie seems to have a lot of. It's kind of that sodium vapor, green, yellow tint. So we're gonna take that to maybe like a super subtle, maybe like a 5. Then we'll come down here to the white output level and the gamma down here. This is where, if we mess with it, you can see goes more, if I drag it to the right, it's more blue, drag it to the left, it's more yellow. We'll probably drag it from 100 points to 98, something very minimal. And then the shadows here, black output level. This is gonna make our shadows a little more blue. I like to play with this a lot when color grading, but in this instance, that doesn't match this scenario, although that does look cool. We'll probably take it to a 2, just to get rid of the greens a little bit, maybe a 3. And so then this right here, this white input level, it's coming off it's close. It's not far off. It might be just a little strong on the yellow, so I might take it down from a 255 to a 250. Everything is very incremental at this stage. You want to make those small adjustments. So levels is a very detailed effect tab where you can do a lot of things and where I really like to dial looks in. So there you can see the color before and now with the levels added and adjusted. That is pretty darn close just off of those few tweaks I've shown you guys so far. Let's see what it looks like on a closer up clip here. That's pretty good. It might be a little crunchy in the shadows, so we'll probably have to walk it back a little bit. So I'll probably come to this black input level, see if I were to drag it back to 0. I had it at 15, so we'll probably take it to about a 10. It's pretty solid right there. I'm also just gonna copy and paste this over to these 2 clips so we can check how they look on those clips. But that's a pretty good look very quickly. You can see the similarities between those two. Everything is just analyzing those fine details, noticing like that, there's a slight hint of blue in the shadows, but really not much at all. It's very contrasty. The shadows are darker. You don't see too many details in the blacks. You know, it's crunchy. You can see that on the fall off on the face. And then noticing it has a warmer tint, but that warmer tint isn't like yellow and orange with magenta. It's more of a sodium vapor kind of green tint to that light. It's not your typical like, you know, morning light that would feel a little more warm and neutral. So just kind of analyzing the image and then knowing how to get that look in the color software or in your software is really important. But it really wasn't that hard, as you can see. There's again another great look. It looks really good. I'm going to just take a screenshot or two. So as you guys can see, you can do quite a bit just within Adobe Premiere, not having to bring it into a different color software. They do a really good job at working in, and I really didn't even get into all the different curves, creative color wheels. I showed you a very baseline way of coloring your projects and how I like to color my projects inside of Premiere and do it pretty easily and seamlessly without having to really jump between any sort of programs or anything like that. So this was the recreation of the Strangers movie, color grade, and done on the ViewSonic Color Pro curved monitor. Love this thing. I love that there's no reflections, because just looking at this, you know, my iMac Pro here, there's so many different reflections, and I can see lights and my hands moving. This finish on this monitor is just like this matte, non-reflective finish, and so I can really see the monitor clearly and not have my eyes be distracted by different reflections. Is the light correct? The color correct? Sorry about that. And so really enjoying how this monitor is improving my color game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see more color correction style, like recreation videos, let me know. Drop something in the comments below saying what movie look we should recreate next. Super down to do more videos like that if it's something you guys want to see and enjoy. So thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, Jakob Owens for the Buff Nerds. I'm out.